If I told you you could save $30,000 a year just by changing your sleeping arrangements, would you do it? The vast majority of long-haul truck drivers in the U.S. spend $16,000 a year on accommodation and another $10,000 on roadside food and basic amenities. That's the price of being human on the highway. But inside a truck cabin, that price disappears. By compressing the kitchen, bedroom, and bathroom into a single high-tech system, they've turned a huge expense into a profit-generating machine. But how do you fit an entire life into a space smaller than your closet? Today, we'll unravel the logic behind these modern machines. If you think the problem is simply lack of space, you're mistaken. The real enemy isn't the size of the box, but how we waste the space inside it. To put it into perspective, think of a small studio apartment in Manhattan. At about 28 square meters, most New Yorkers would call that cramped. Now look at a supersized sleeping compartment in a truck. It's a mere 15 square meters, less than half that size. In a standard home, we have the luxury of dead space, those corners never touched, or hallways that only lead to another room. In a truck, dead space is a crime. The real turning point came in 1993 when Jerry Moyes, a trucking mogul, decided to spend 3 weeks sitting in the passenger seat with truck drivers to truly understand the business. What he witnessed was heartbreaking. Men and women living in misery, exhausted both physically and mentally. In March 1994, he partnered with ARI to do the impossible, redesign the truck cabin from scratch. He said, "I want an apartment inside the truck, not a bed, not a bunk bed, a space comfortable enough to live in for 3 months." That was the first time the industry acknowledged that to run an entire country, you first have to take good care of the people behind the wheel. In a typical American suburb, the bed occupies nearly 40% of the bedroom floor space, yet it's only truly used for about 7 hours each night. For the remaining 70% of the day, it's just an expensive, superfluous weight. In the world of long-haul transportation, that kind of waste is a luxury nobody can afford. So what's the solution? We stop viewing space as something fixed and start viewing it as something that moves clockwise. When the driver is behind the wheel, the bed doesn't exist. It folds away or transforms into a convenient workspace or dining chair. It's like a Swiss Army knife serving life. By switching from a resting place to a workspace, the cabin actually expands depending on the time of day. It's a clever psychological shift. You don't need extra space. You just need the furniture to keep up with your schedule. And once the bed stops occupying the floor, it creates space for the next essential pieces in the human survival puzzle to begin to appear. We have nearly 20 square meters of granite countertops, drawers overflowing with utensils used only once a year, and enough dry storage space to survive the apocalypse in a typical American family kitchen. But the reality tells a different story. 80% of our meals are repetitive, and we only actually use about a quarter of the utensils we own. We don't buy space, we buy the illusion of choice. In the sleeping compartment of a truck, that illusion is completely dispelled. The kitchen is streamlined to the essentials: 1 or 2 stovetops, a compact sink, and a refrigerator just large enough to hold food for the next few days. By eliminating clutter, the truck cabin forces the driver to master the right choices instead of the many. It transforms cooking from a chaotic chore into a streamlined process. However, even if we can simplify the eating aspect, the most private and technically challenging part of the human experience on the road is still ahead. A standard American bathroom is about 4.5 square meters, but on a truck, you have to squeeze all that functionality into a mere 1 square meter. That's an 80% reduction in space. Voltis specified Krakeman spare space, forcing a devastating trade-off. Comfort is reduced, but technical precision must skyrocket. While you rely on the city's sewage system, the driver has to carry their own ecosystem. We're talking about 150-gallon, approximately 570 liters, freshwater tanks, and 40-gallon waste tanks that must withstand constant vibration and high speeds on the highway. In this tiny box, showering isn't just about cleanliness, it's managing a finite resource with surgical precision. It's a stark reminder that in the world of long-haul trucking, even the most private habits are governed by the laws of physics. But once these basic survival needs have been met, one final question remains. Is this cabin merely for sustaining life, or can it truly offer a sense of home? When you park your car at a deserted stop in the middle of nowhere, the TV isn't just for entertainment. It's a window back to normal. Consider other devices the physical body of the house providing for physical survival. And the TV? It's the soul. Without it, life on the road is simply a monotonous loop of driving, eating, and sleeping in a metal box. But with it, life becomes an experience. You'll hear the familiar voice of a late-night talk show host or cheer for your hometown team, creating a psychological bridge, connecting you to the world you've left behind. That's the difference between a nomad and a homebody. In this small space, the TV transforms a cold workspace into a warm sanctuary. It proves that humans need more than just calories and rest. We need a sense of belonging. And when all these elements, from the bed to the screen, finally fit together, you'll start to see a much bigger picture. A luxury sleeping pod can cost anywhere from $80,000 to over $300,000. However, when you do the math, the logic becomes undeniable. By eliminating hotel bills and restaurant meals, a driver saves approximately $28,000 per year. That means the entire system will pay for itself in about 3 years. But the real reward isn't just financial. It's the ability to master your living environment. Whether you're in a 300 square meter mansion or a 20 square meter cabin, quality of life isn't defined by the size of your space, but by how intelligently you use it. You see, the modern sleeping pod is a masterpiece, but it's also a golden cage. It offers all the physical comforts, a hot meal, a warm bed, a crisp TV screen, yet it cannot create human connection. In America, we worship the idea of open roads, but the truth is freedom is never free. It comes at the cost of stability. You have the world through the windshield, but you lose the simple joy of a neighbor's wave or a Sunday dinner together. This space isn't for everyone. It's for a kind of soul that finds peace in movement. Looking at these incredible mobile homes, we realize that while technology may shrink the kitchen and hide the bed, it hasn't yet found a way to compress the human heart's need for a home. Ultimately, we're all trying to solve the same equation: how to live well. Most of us choose the traditional path: a 30-year mortgage, exhausting commutes, and hundreds of square meters crammed with things we rarely touch. We're paying a hefty price for what we call space, which we spend most of our time just walking past. Then look at the drivers. They trade white wooden fences for endless skylines. They trade sprawling suburbs for a high-tech box where every inch of space is put to work. Is the real problem that your house is too small? Or is it that you've never really learned how to make the most of the space you have? One simple fact at a time, that's how we understand the world. Like, subscribe to Simple Why and tell us your question below. Your why could be our next video.